Today we're going to answer some questions about living in Paraguay.
What do you like about living in Paraguay?
A lot. Well, let's be specific. I think one of the things that I really like is, for instance, just the simple stuff, Bianca, you know? I go down, let's say that's, I don't know, at 7 p.m. at night. And I get down to the basement and I see the security guard. And we just start like a casual conversation about something. Just having this like experience, and you have this all the time, like people here are very approachable. It's easy to talk to people, like there's no tension, you know, like we're very close. And I kind of like that. So if you want that, I feel like this is very accessible here. Security guards are just an example, you know, like I told you, I go down, I start talking to one of the guards. They work in 12-hour shifts. Okay, so there are 2 here every single day. Then they're off for like 2 days, but I still get to see the same people all the time. And just having this like experience where you go down and you know there's someone you can talk to, and it's a very relaxed environment to start a conversation in. There's no tension and people are not like grouchy or anything. It's like they're just very pleasant to be with. They're very approachable, they're very likable, they're very friendly, very hospitable. And I feel like that makes a big difference if you come to a country, and we talked about this in the past videos too. The feeling of being welcome is nice. It's nice to have. You know, being welcome or being rejected are 2 different pair of shoes, and the latter you probably don't want to be wearing. You know, it's not a fun experience, trust me. So comparing it to Europe, you know, where I spend a lot of time, where people are not very approachable, where people are like cold and it's like hard to start a conversation. And I have a Latino friend and he lives in Spain. I mean, he used to live in Spain. I don't think he still lives there, but he told me a lot of the times that, and he's Latino, and he told me that with Europeans you always have to break the ice. Like he's telling me it's not easy to start a conversation, it's not easy to get close because, you know, it's a different environment, you know, it's more individualistic, and it's kind of like you can compare to wearing a new pair of shoes, right? You got to break in the shoe, and that takes time, you know. And in Europe, starting a conversation or starting a friendship, it takes time. It's like breaking in a shoe. Here it's like you go to the department store, you buy the shoe, and it fits you perfectly right away. That's how I feel about it. And in Europe, that's not how I feel about it. In America, it's again different. It's again easier to start a conversation. Is it easy to get close? No, it does take more time. Here it's more relaxed.
How does it compare to Asia?
Great question, Bianca. It's actually quite similar. Another thing that we haven't even pointed out yet is that meeting other expats is so much easier here than it is in other countries. Why? Like people are coming here with a different mentality. Like the people who are coming here, they're like looking for certain things. And I feel like that's part of it too. But then I feel like another part of it is that as an expat, you stand out a lot more. You can immediately tell who is an expat or not. How can you tell it? Well, just by listening to their accent, listening how they speak Spanish. Let's say you're talking to an expat from North America or Europe, right, where Spanish is not the native language, then that's a different story, right? So you immediately get to see, okay, this person is an expat. Let me talk to him, you know. And because people are expats, Bianca, it's just easier to build that bridge. Or should I say the bridge already exists? It's just different because an expat meets another expat. There are usually a lot of commonalities. It's different. And you probably find that easier here. But you asked now about Asia, right? You were asking about Asia. So I actually met my best friend playing tennis in Asia. And it was coincidentally. We didn't book that session together. No, we just played at the same time. We met there, and that was like, I believe in 2015 or 2016, and we met playing tennis. He was an expat in Vietnam, I was an expat in Vietnam, and that's how we met. The rest is history, as we like to call it, but it's just like if you compare it to Asia, and many of you guys have been living in Asia and you're thinking of relocating to Latin America, and you're like, is it going to be easy for me to make friends in Latin America? And the answer is yes, it will be. It will be easy for you. And the one example that I mentioned just now where I randomly met a guy, you know, playing tennis, and it turned out that we were going to turn into like best friends. I mean, it's not the norm, okay? So I'm not saying it's the norm, but you're going to meet a lot of like-minded people who we have a lot in common with. And because of that, it's just a more natural connection than if you were to force it, or if you're like, you know, if you're like in your home country and you got a lot of things to talk about, and that's perfectly fine too. But expats, they think very differently from people that have not left their country, you know? We're different. Nomads are different. Their whole comfort zone is different. Their whole experience, you know, their whole perception is all different. And if you want that, I mean, you can have that in Paraguay. It's definitely a good place for that. In Mexico, anywhere, I'd say.
What about services in Paraguay?
Services in Paraguay are probably one of the biggest advantages that you get to enjoy here. And I give you an example, like Bianca. I have a maid here. She comes over, she cleans my place. I'm happy. Am I doing it myself? Yes. Before you arrived here, I sweep the floor. I cleaned the floor, right? I tied it up. But do I want to do this every day? Every 2 weeks. I could probably do it every week too. Every 2 weeks, someone comes here and she cleans this place. And what's great about that, guys, is that this person charges a fixed fee for that. Like, I've hired people in Spain and other countries. You know what they do? They charge an hourly rate. So you gotta watch them like every move, make sure that they are working while they're working. Here I don't have to do that. Why? I just pay a fixed fee. So I know this person comes here, and you know how much I pay to have this apartment cleaned? 120,000 Guarani is what I pay to have this place cleaned. This is a 2-bedroom apartment. Like, it's very affordable, and the best part of it is that I don't have to do it myself, and the work is done really perfectly. Like, she puts in 100%, and I don't have to watch her. Like, if you were to hire a professional cleaning service in America, that's pretty much how she does it. She starts cleaning from top to bottom. I mean, the service here is so much better than in Europe. A lot of people do not believe that, but it's true. Like, when I hire people, for instance, in Spain or in like Austria or in different countries, you know how much I pay for cleaning the apartment? I mean, it's an insane amount. Like, here it's affordable, and if you're happy, you can even throw in a tip. This is up to you. If you appreciate her or him so much, go ahead, throw in a tip. And this is just one aspect, Bianca, like home services, home cleaning, house cleaning services are fantastic here. The person shows up at the time and the place is clean after 2 to 3 hours, and it's great. It's very effective. So if you work from home, if you're like an entrepreneur and you don't have that time or you don't want to spend it, you are busy, occupied doing other things, guess what? You can use money as a leverage to get these things done here, where let's say you live in America, where you would pay like $200 to $300 in America to get your house cleaned. Here it's affordable, it's very reasonably priced, and you can do this not just bi-weekly but every week, or even every third day if you want to, depending on how organized you are. If you have OCD, you might want to do it every week or every other day, but every second week, like bi-weekly, works for me. And like I said, it's very affordable. Another thing I wanted to touch on is that just going to the spa, like, is super efficient here, and just to get a manicure done. Like, the last time when I was in Europe, I got one done in Spain. It was so bad. Like, I was bleeding. I'm like, I'm never going back there. Like, if there's blood when you're getting that done, I'm never going back there. Like, here, they just have more feeling for that. You know what I mean? And it's affordable too. Like, how much do you pay to get your manicure done here in Paraguay?
I pay $10 for it.
I pay like 12 or 13, but it depends on where I'm going to. But I mean, it's just a different service experience. And like I said, in Spain, I paid like probably double. I paid like 20 euros, I guess. The service was not good and they rushed it. I never like when a service is being rushed. I think it's really bad. When you go there and you pay, you want to get the best service possible. And at least for that person to give 100% and to make sure that you leave happily. I think that's important. And so far, I mean, I had this experience here every time.
What about grocery shoppings?
Well, there's something called here biggies, which I'm sure you're familiar with, right? Biggie, whatever. Like, they're open 24/7, and that's cool. So if you're accustomed to like the 24/7 culture, to be honest with you, Bianca, in Europe, we don't really have that. In America, we have that. In Texas, we got Circle K, we got Stripes. This experience, that you get here with the convenience store, right? It's open 24/7. So let's say Bianca is hungry, Gerald's hungry, whoever, you guys, right? You're hungry at 4 a.m. in the morning. You want to go to the store and you want to just buy like water, or you want to buy like some chocolate, or you want to buy some toilet paper. I don't know what you're looking to buy, but you can go to the convenience store, to Biggie's, and get that really any hour of the day. It is open 24/7, and this is a convenience that is just nice to have. For a Texan coming to Paraguay, I mean, you will not feel much of a difference. In Europe, we don't really have that. I mean, there might be certain places in like London, Madrid that are open 24/7, or like until 11 p.m. or midnight. Thank you for watching, and we see you on the next video.